Focus, people.
Yeah.
Hey, Colin.
Hey, Colin.
Hey,
What's
there,
up?
buddy.
Everybody doing okay today?
See, we've already lost it.
No, we
but-
haven't.
Colin's
no,
already made it awkward.
Dude, you know what? I had an appointment today at the DMV at 11:30 today to get my real ID. I left at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
I left at 1 fucking clock. By the way, this was during work, so, I'm salary. I guess I'm not really getting paid for that. Anyway.
Anyways, welcome back, everybody. So this is going to be kind of a different episode because most of this stuff that we're going to talk about today has already been out for a while. We're kind of doing more of like
4 years.
4 years, yeah. So
It's been 4 years.
2018 is when Black Panther, the first one, came out. Yeah.
correct.
What was his first appearance? It was actually in Avengers. It wasn't.
It was in
Didn't he appear before
Civil
his movie?
War.
Yeah.
Civil War,
Civil War was Chadwick Boseman's first appearance as the Black Panther in the MCU.
Yeah, you freaking killed it.
So yeah, we're talking about Black Panther today. So we're going to go into
As well as the new one that's coming out November 11th. Everybody mark their calendars.
it's 1 month
Ooh.
out from this
And
particular
then how
recording.
long until it'll be, published on Disney Plus? It'll be like a month later, a
Yeah,
couple
a
months
few
later.
weeks.
Who knows?
Which I'm not mad at.
I'm probably gonna wait till then, honestly.
Are you really? No, I'm gonna look.
I don't know. I feel like the series has earned
see it on the big
that
screen.
respect to go see it in theaters. But so we're going to talk about the character himself today, as well as just our impressions of the Wakanda Forever trailer that's come out here relatively recently. I think their final trailer, with it just being a month out, has aired. So we'll
I have my
get
concerns.
their reactions.
I have my concerns.
Oh, he's full of it.
Hold on, before we get into that, let's just talk about our reactions and what we think about the first film.
Sure thing.
Because obviously I think most of the people in the freaking entire world have been watching Marvel.
Right. I mean, it's only been going since 2008, I believe. During the
Iron Man, that was the first
2008, I believe.
one. Yeah, that sounds about right.
So 20.
I can't
It
do
feels-
math.
yeah,
It's been
not
a
even
long time.
20.
Anyway,
But,
yeah. So let's get into the numbers real quick, and then we can go on. So Rotten Tomatoes has Black Panther, the first one, just so we're clear, at 96%, with IMDb at a 7.3 out of 10, which I think is kind of low with
That
IMDb.
feels low.
But whatever.
People are allowed to have their opinion, no matter how wrong they are.
People suck. But anyway, overall feelings on the first movie, you know what? Their biggest strength, I feel like, was characters. A lot of
Yes.
character development in that series or movie. Sorry. It kind of just gives a full-on story of where Wakanda came from. You got the asteroid, I
Meteorite.
guess. Meteorite. Sorry. It came down and struck in Africa, and how that whole
Yes.
nation was built.
Now, that is correct to how that happens in the comics as well.
Right. And that's another thing. I feel like, tell me if I'm wrong, I feel like in comparison to the comics and what we saw in the movie, I think that's pretty close, pretty accurate.
Yeah,
What I
so a lot of what happens between T'Challa and Eric Kilgore, or Killmonger, sorry.
Killmonger, what is wrong
Killmonger.
with you?
That was close. Does actually happen within the comic. Like, he beats him in the ritual combat. He gets chucked off the waterfall. He's still alive.
Yep.
All that actually plays out how it plays out in the comics, more or less, with some differences, but the general idea is there.
And let's not forget, we actually finally get to have our first African American superhero. That's way been long overdue,
Yes. So I had something to talk about there. So
If you would have said grievance, I would have walked out.
Oh, you got the dude
no,
from
not a
Thor.
grievance, not a grievance. But
What dude from Thor?
Idris Elba.
He's not a superhero. He's just
Eh,
a
he
side
is to me.
character.
No. I think he's very important.
what? Heimdall?
Yeah. Is he black in the comic books?
I don't think he is, but
No,
I don't remember. But
I'm
to go
talking
off
about
of what?
main superhero. He's an African American, and I think that's
Yes.
dope and long overdue.
That's why I like the first Black Panther, though. It was a different storyline. It was all new to me. I really loved it. The whole culture, the music, the costumes, everything about it was fun to watch. It was entertaining. It was different. Every scene was different. I freaking loved it.
So to go off of both of those points here, starting off with Colin. So Black Panther as a comic book hero first came about in 1966. He was the first mainline African descent hero in Marvel. He predates the Falcon, who came out 3 years later, Luke Cage, and then Blade. Which
Blade is badass.
it's weird to. It's like he is a Marvel character, but it's weird to think of him as he's actually going to be in this MCU. That will be an episode within itself when that movie eventually comes out. But yeah, so Black Panther is the chieftain of the Wakandan people, a fictional nation that has access to the strongest material known to man, called vibranium.
Yeah, buddy. They used it to make a frisbee.
I want some. Yeah, I want some vibranium.
And they use it to make a frisbee.
I understood that reference.
Yes, get that man a shield.
I didn't get that. What's the
What?
What's the frisbee reference?
Have you
Captain
not?
American's shield is made of vibranium.
Who said that?
No, it was freaking Ultron that said that.
Ultron did.
Yeah.
But before he lasers it in half or something.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I guess some side things with the movie is that they do reference a lot of African culture, the different various tribes. You see the ones that have the little lip ornament. It has a name. Somebody's going to scream at me in the comments section, I'm sure.
I think they just call it a key, don't they? I think it's just the key to get in there to their country.
No.
No.
He's talking about the piercing, that freaking little puck that's in there.
Yeah, the puck
yeah.
thing. I don't want to call it a puck, but that's what it looks like.
The lip tattoo.
Yeah, now that's some of the secret tech to get back to prove that you are a Wakandan as opposed to just a regular African character in the show.
Mm-hmm. I think I might get that tattooed in my lip.
There you go.
I think it would hurt like hell.
Probably.
I think I'm okay.
I think I'll pass on that one as
I'm gonna
well.
pass on that.
So,
You guys aren't cool enough.
that being said, Black Panther does have a lot of representation going on. I don't even think you really see any white people in the show aside from Ulysses Claw and Ross.
I mean, he was the Hobbit.
He was the Hobbit.
Is he gonna be in the newest one?
I mean, he's still alive, so I
Oh.
believe so. I think he's actually already credited in IMDb as being in the show.
Oh, good. I like him.
I'm curious what they're gonna do with that. I'm not sure why the CIA would be
But he
involved.
appears in what is he coming up in? The Nick Fury.
Series. We were
Yeah.
talking about that.
Is he in that one?
Was
Was Nick Fury African American in the comic books?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes,
There
but
you
no.
go.
It depends on which one.
There you go. There is
Depends
something.
on your comic book line. He's white in one, he's black in another. It's
Well, that's awkward.
yeah. It goes back and forth. A lot of that is just however they were feeling, I want to say almost at the time, because you don't have too many African representation through the comics aside from like the Falcon, Luke Cage, Blade. A couple of the Green Lanterns are black. You got Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart. In that regards, in the DC comic book series, like Static Shock, just to name a few.
I think you named more than a few there.
Oh, there's more. There's always more.
What I'm getting at is you made your point.
Yeah. So that aside, one of the things that you do see, I guess, throughout both the Civil War movie as well as in this Black Panther film is like his general abilities as like a superhero, that he is gifted by basically like a mutated flower.
Yeah. That is then turned into a stew, if you will, I guess.
Yeah, a stew, a potion, what have you.
Yeah.
Which I find interesting that he has a particular way to like temporarily like remove the power.
What do you mean?
Like in the ritual combat, like
they made a
drinks
potion for to remove that.
Yeah, but then they also have a potion to give it back, which is kind of weird because in the comics, I don't believe that happens. He just like loses it every once in a while through like magical means. Either in one particular instance, Doctor Doom puts him into a coma and he loses his powers. Then that is actually the first time you see Shuri become the Black Panther to take over while her brother is in a coma. Somebody has to rule the country.
Whatever.
Right.
I'm kind of indifferent about Black Panther's power. I think I have more respect for the technology that he uses.
Sure.
I don't know. I mean, like I'm sure the power is important. Like it's always nice to be strong and I guess heal quicker.
Yeah.
But I feel like his suit plays such a vital role.
Well, it does, but the suit realistically only like prevents him from actually like receiving damage. It doesn't really do much to like enhance his abilities. At least in the movie, it doesn't. So some of his basic abilities as a Black Panther is you got the super strength, you got the stamina, the agility. But some of the like weirder things that he's been like accredited for is that as a Black Panther, you can rely on the knowledge of the past Black Panthers and all of their experiences.
Previous kings, right?
Yes. So you do see that in the film where he has like his little like vision, like ancestral plane kind of moment where he can
They're
talk.
all up in the trees.
Yes,
they're
where all the
Panthers
other
and
Black
shit.
Panthers
Oh,
are
yeah.
up in the
Cool.
trees.
Yeah.
Yes, a very good moment.
Very awesome visuals, like cinematography and everything, and just in the movie in general. And a lot of the Marvel films, actually, I feel like the cinematography and the
They've been getting better at it.
yes,
They
For
have
sure.
not lost that in any of like the more mainline blockbuster Marvel films.
yeah.
We can probably make an entire episode about the wavering qualities of like the Disney Plus shows, that some of their stuff kind of goes back and forth in terms of
And a lot of the
cinematography,
movies now. I don't know if you've noticed, but if you go on Disney Plus, a lot of them have that enhanced IMAX theatrical.
I saw that.
Yeah, and actually, it looks a lot better.
yeah.
I don't know if my TV necessarily.
I mean, the human eye really can't tell the difference between 1080p and 4K unless you stare at the screen like actively for hours and you make that like your living like every day.
Yeah, and here we are doing a podcast about that kind of shit.
I know, right?
Nerds.
So another like one of his more like weird powers is because he's like a panther, he has like animalistic qualities, and one of the things he's been like accredited to is that he can follow people by their smell, like by their scent, and is able to keep like that.
I didn't know that.
it's weird. It doesn't come up terribly often in the comics. It's like
I
I
actually
I
did
can
know
smell
that.
you.
I'm just really glad they didn't
They
do
didn't go that
in
route.
the movie, because
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah,
like
they're
that would have been
sniffing at
weird.
people.
Like, you just see Chadwick just going, "You smell that?" I think Claw's around, you know.
Right. That'd be super weird. So I guess other side notes for the character in the comics is his first appearance is he openly challenges the Fantastic Four
That I
in a
didn't know.
competition to test his combat abilities so that he can go fight Ulysses Claw, or I guess in the comics it's just the Claw.
Yeah.
Does he win?
He does for quite a while. So he does like some stupid ass stuff. He does like a flying scissor kick, and for a good while he kicks their ass. Now, eventually, the Fantastic Four kind of like mount a counterattack, and they basically come to terms like, oh, this is why I was fighting you all, because I wanted to test my strength, and you all are like the next strongest people that I could think of below me. Kind of deal.
That kind of reminds me of shit. What's his name? Admiral Tarkin in
Yes.
Star Wars.
Mhm.
He did that kind of shit with Darth Vader. Darth Vader was like, "Hey man, I want you to hunt me down and try and kill me," and then Admiral Tarkin and a bunch of other guys were trying to hunt him down. The other guys were eventually killed, I think, or whatever. But Admiral Tarkin survived and showed his quality. Lord of the Rings reference, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, sorry, random tangent.
Yeah, so way before that, another thing that T'Challa had accomplished is, as he was doing his like rite of passage where he can go explore the world outside of Wakanda for a while, he happens to find an orphan teen whose name is Aurora Monroe, otherwise known as Storm from the X-Men. And they actually fall in love and date for a little bit.
Aww.
But because T'Challa is bound to the politics of Wakanda, he wanted to be a leader for his people and be there, so they just broke that off. They would eventually re-meet several years down the line. But that was kind of a fun little inclusion. It's like, oh, hey, he has some affiliation with the X-Men too, also aside from just being affiliated with the Avengers and the Fantastic Four. Like, he's been around for a while.
Oh, he's definitely been around for a while. Well, let's kind of break it down into character development, and let's talk about the characters in the show or the movie. I keep saying series or show or something. I don't know
It's all
really.
confusing. I don't blame you.
Anyway, let's talk about what your all's feelings are on particular characters. We all think about. I guess let's start with Black Panther. What do y'all think about him as a character in general? Y'all like him? Chadwick Boseman, did he kill it? Did he do a poor job? What do y'all think?
No, Chadwick killed it, man. I think it's I think that's one of my concerns with the new trailers. I know. I mean, obviously it wasn't Disney's fault, but I think it's the big shoes to fill. I really loved watching him play it.
Yeah. Had you been exposed to any of Chadwick's work prior to?
No. No.
That's fair. He's done a handful of different things. The one that I'm most familiar with is that he did a movie about the Thurgood Marshall, which I don't know if you know who he is, Jake. But I believe he was the first African American to be on the Supreme Court. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And he did a really fantastic job there. But not only was he an actor, he also wrote a lot of stuff. He was a screenwriter. Playwright, probably a little of both.
Both.
But That's kind of my exposure to him as an actor. Now, in terms of does he make a good Black Panther? Yes. He does a really good job portraying what his own father said is like, you're a good man with a good heart. It's very difficult to be a king if you have either of those qualities.
I think that's part of the reason why I like the Black Panther movie so much too. Is it had so many underlying stories and plots behind it. Like even Chadwick's character becoming the king, becoming a leader, kind of having this big divide of, hey, this is how we've always done things, but recognizing, but you guys did those things wrong. Like they weren't the right approach to the modern day world. We should be out there.
Well,
it's like
I would
this character
disagree
development
there.
of him trying to decide and determine, hey, only because your dad was like that doesn't necessarily mean you have to be like that. Find your own being, be your own person.
Now that I agree with. It's very much of what the past Black Panthers were doing were right for their time.
Mm-hmm.
But in a post Avengers world, that wasn't going to happen anymore.
Yeah.
So, oh gosh, they're posing for photos.
We gotta get our Instagram feed up, man.
Yeah, let's follow us on Instagram.
But anyway, no, I want to get back on my first impression with Chadwick Boseman was actually the movie 42 with Jackie Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he did a remarkable job in that movie. If you haven't seen that movie and you don't know anything about Jackie Robinson, I highly recommend it. But he definitely goes through the racism and everything that was involved at that time.
Yep.
He definitely hits everything on nail on the head with that entire series. I extremely enjoyed that. But with Michael B. Jordan, let's move on to him. Do y'all think that he killed that part being Killmonger, or?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that was another reason why I liked the first movie. I think the antagonist, him being the antagonist, just watching his character development and his backstory was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So everything about that movie, the culture, the music, the scenes, the plots, the writing of it all, it was all phenomenal.
Okay, all right, hold on. Let's pause.
Okay,
Let's
pause. You're dropping a lot
you
on
said
this.
that already, and I wanted to catch you off guard the first time, but I'm going to do it now. The score in that movie, I want to give it actually a 7 out of, maybe a 6.5 out of 10, because...
Why?
All right, this is where I'm coming from. If you're going to incorporate a culture into your film, you need to basically have the score be exactly the same. You need more tribal kind of music, not the Weeknd in the background playing. Personally, I think it should have been mostly all freaking like tribal music, and maybe a little more groovy or something, but having the Weeknd just because he's an African American singer, I don't really feel that should be incorporated.
So I want to make a comment there.
Go ahead.
That's
please.
very much an evolution of the culture, though. Like they make a point in the movie to say it's like, hey, like the African people are split up everywhere. Some of those people ended up in the movie's case, Oakland, California.
Sure.
Like, one of the places where hip hop thrived. So I think that whenever Killmonger's particular scenes played out and they put in the hip hop, that was a representation of his, like what he was exposed to as a culture, like just what was going on in his childhood.
Okay. If you're going to do that, then involve that hip hop in the scenes that he is in, not when they're in South Korea trying to catch Claw. Involve that tribal music. But if you want to go with that argument, sure, involve Killmonger and that hip hop kind of rap vibe in every scene that he's in. But if it's
they do for the most part.
I think they do for the most part too.
Because I think the only scene where you don't have Killmonger like actually on scene when they're trying to capture Ulysses is in the gambling hall.
The gambling hall, that song that is played is The Weeknd.
Was it?
Yep.
Well,
So therefore, your argument is invalid.
in that particular moment, I agree with you.
Well, the one thing I did love about the movie is they have all these jabs, like historical jabs. Like, very beginning, they're in the London Museum, and he's asking these questions to the what are they called, curators or
To the
whatever.
curator, yeah. To the expert.
And he makes a joke like, "Well, don't worry, I'll take it off your hands here soon." And she's like, "Well, sir, they're not for sale." And he's like, "Oh yeah, since your ancestors bought these, right?" I just love all those little jabs. There's one scene like in the tech lab.
Yeah.
She calls the white dude, whatever, the CIA guy. He calls him the colonizer.
Yeah, like the colonizer.
It just cracks me up.
Oh, Ross,
I
yeah.
fucking love it.
Everett Ross, I believe, is the character.
The writing's just, I loved it.
There was a lot of like fun jabs. I agree. It's just like Britain will forever be the you like your things? No, we like your things. The country, because they did that with basically all of Africa and India, right? Just we're gonna casually just steal like half of Egypt's culture and half of like the African tribes.
Tried it with America, but we got that.
Yeah, Jesus, that's a whole.
That's a different rabbit hole. You need to watch Marvel's like What If series if you haven't already.
It's
I haven't.
freaking awesome.
Yes, because
I didn't
imagine
watch
Captain
that.
America, but instead it's Captain Britain.
Oh, fuck that. Was it Peggy Carter or someone?
No, it's still Steve. Well, he might have a different name. I'm pretty sure.
What? No, Peggy Carter becomes Captain America. What are you talking about?
That's what I heard, but
Am I crazy? I might be crazy.
You're crazy. Captain America becomes
Crazy.
is Peggy. That's yeah.
well, that's not
Whichever.
bad.
Anyways,
I take that back.
What if?
I think she'd be a pretty badass Captain America.
And they're
Or
coming
Captain
out.
Britain. What
No, Captain Britain. We broke ties with them years ago. We have our own holiday now.
enough talking about Britain. God, we're here talking about Wakanda.
Yes, Wakanda Forever. So speaking of Wakanda Forever, so what are your all's reactions to the trailer so far? I got a lot to talk about because I happen to know who's in it.
You want me to go for? Well, let me ask this: did you guys like it? Are you guys excited for it, or am I the only one that has concerns?
I'm definitely intrigued.
Colin's
100%.
intrigued. What about you, Kenny?
I'm going to go watch it. I'll enjoy it.
No, I'm still gonna watch it, but like watching the trailer, does it? Like, are you pumped up for it?
Well, maybe not necessarily pumped up, but I want to see what they do with the story.
Yeah.
Because in the trailer, we see that,
There's
Chadwick's character is dead. It has to be. And Shuri becomes the new Black Panther, as we see towards the end of the
Did they
trailer.
kill him off?
They're probably going to show that in the movie itself.
But they haven't killed him
But
off in like
not-
one of the Avengers or anything.
No,
I don't remember.
no.
I mean, he dies in Endgame, but then he's brought
gets
back.
snapped back.
He's right. So I wonder how he dies.
I imagine they'll have to elaborate, but as a comic book guy, we see the first Marvel character in this trailer. His name is Namor, or the
Namor,
Submariner. And he is originally an anti-hero, so he is not always a great guy. And in the comics, he sinks Wakanda with a tidal wave. So he's not a good guy most of the time. Although he does eventually join the Avengers and helps out. He's basically an Aquaman, but a dick.
Pretty much.
I think that was my biggest concern. I'm glad you said something, Kenny, because I watched the trailer. I never read these comic books, but I was watching the trailer and it's like, oh great, now they're fighting these submariner fish people.
It's Atlantis.
And I'm like, what the hell? I don't know. So that was my biggest concern was going to be the antagonist of this new movie. But
Yeah.
if it is based off comic books, I'm sure it's going to be exciting and they'll do a good job with it.
But
Although Chadwick, as I said before, it's going to be a high bar. So I'm curious on how they're going to surpass that.
Yeah. So with Black Panther Wakanda Forever coming out here in November that is slated to be the last film for Phase 4.
Yep.
So it'll be fun to see how that goes because in the trailer, I don't know if the people crawling up the yacht boat thing are the like the mer people basically, or if they're Skrull. If they happen to be Skrull, then that leads into Secret Invasion, which is going to be a bigger thing later on.
How would they be Skrull?
Skrulls have all sorts of like weird.
No.
abilities.
I get it, but like, why would they be reintroducing? I guess in this film.
That might be actually a very good point. Anyway, that's my theory. I think it's
a dead end. It's a dead end.
That might just be a dead end thought.
Right. It's definitely the people from it. It's Atlantis.
Yeah.
That's 100% what's gonna happen. So what else do we know about Namor?
So aside from his basic like abilities, very much like the first guy that Marvel Comics released back in like 1939. So he's got a lot of like legacy backed up. Now his various powers.
Excuse us while Kenny looks up these powers.
Well, I know a handful that he already has. Like,
What's his problem though? Why is he an anti-hero? Spoiler alert. Do you know?
I don't want to say that he's like imagine like a radicalized environmentalist.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I might cheer for this dude.
But he's just like
Like in a good way, or like.
I mean, he sings an inland country with a tidal wave. Do you realize how hard that is to do? Just like physically, like he has to go like halfway across. He would have to go halfway across Africa, basically.
So can he control water? Is he?
Yes and no. So a handful of abilities that he has, like apart from being able to breathe underwater because he is half human, half Atlantean. He can fly. He has the agility, durability. He can survive like the undersea pressures and all that kind of stuff. He also ages slower. Like he's around like 100 years old by the time they like really interact with him. Yes, telepathic.
100 years old and I was as ripped as that guy, dude. Count me in.
Goals.
Dude, hell yeah.
But aside from that, Namor doesn't really have much going on. He has some telepathic abilities. I believe he is actually listed as a mutant. So aside from being like,
that would make sense.
Yeah, which I think his mutant ability is light, but he has like telepathic abilities. He can, I'm going to end up repeating myself here, but he is an interesting character, and it's weird that they're just using Black Panther as his first interactions in the MCU. Mostly because like he's always been like a Fantastic Four kind of character.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely intrigued by the movie, so I'll definitely be watching. And don't you worry, I'll definitely have some positive and negative.
I hope they have some weekend in the movie just for Colin.
just to piss me off. You know, I usually like The Weeknd, but in that film, it just wasn't necessary. But whatever, it's fine. I'll get over it eventually. It's only 4 years later. I'm still holding a grudge.
Oh, it's all good. So, do you all have any other questions in regards to either things in the trailers about Black Panther as a character himself, like any of like the deep lore?
I'm curious how they're gonna write him off.
Yeah, I guess.
Chadwick, meaning Chadwick. Obviously not the Black Panther, but
Well, again, Black Panther is just a not. It's weird because not only is it like the character name, but it's a title, right? So the title can be passed on. We see that with Shuri, and Shuri does become the Black Panther in the comics.
I want to see the rhinos again too. I want to see the rhinos, the badass rhino.
They show the rhino for like 8 seconds in the movie.
He's on the screen for like maybe like 40 frames, dude. Like give it a rest.
Good. Plenty of time to bring it back. It only needs a few seconds.
One thing I do actually want to get your all's reaction on. Let's talk about the technological advances that were shown in the movie itself.
Sure.
How cool is that shit?
Yeah. So that's like one of the weird. I'm going to call it a weird thing that Wakanda and / Shuri in this particular case is very much advanced, and the only people that even get like remotely close to the like that level of like technological advancement is Tony Stark, Doom, and Reed Richards.
Yep.
Bruce Banner is up there, but a lot of his stuff is kind of based off of Tony Stark.
Tony Stark, 100%.
But so it's interesting to see that actually be like called out in the movie. That's like, oh hey, this girl that relies too heavily on the technology is in line to inherit the throne.
So they obviously have opened up their gates, if you will,
Yes,
and shared their technological advances with the world.
yes, as a third world country with a bunch of
Air
farmers.
quotes, third world country, and all they wanted in freaking return was a goddamn Starbucks
And the
Right.
Olympics.
and the Olympics.
So is she better than Bruce Banner and Tony Stark, Kenny, in your opinion?
In terms of intelligence, probably not, but it's comparable. She's definitely one of the smartest people on the planet, easily.
I don't have, yeah, I would agree.
So it will be fun to see how they turn her into the action hero that she ends up becoming. So yeah, Wakanda Forever. I believe that is slated to come out
November 11th.
November 11th, because
Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda Forever used to be coming out on the 8th of June, I believe, but COVID happened. They shoved it back. So
Shocker. COVID ruined everything.
Damn COVID.
Oh, dating the episode even more. Gentlemen, do we have any more closing thoughts?
Yeah, be sure to check us out on Instagram. Subscribe and follow on our YouTube channel. And I'm going to finish this Rolling Rock. And if Rolling Rock is listening, please
Yes,
sponsor us. That'd be
Please
great.
give Colin the sponsor. He would love to be your new mascot given the opportunity, or at least receive some free product.
This
I'm
is
sure.
totally off topic, but like, would you all get a tattoo or something of a brand and you'd be pretty much set for life because they'd be sending you like a paycheck every month?
They do that with certain video games. I know that if you name your like your newborn child off of like a video game character, with companies like Blizzard, for example, have like given out like a bunch of free shit to these people. So
No, probably
no,
not. I don't really,
the long and short of it is no. I'd get a tattoo of something that I'd actually like.
Dude, I would.
Want.
I would to be set for
Would
life.
you get the
to get
Rolling
that
Rock
monthly
on?
paycheck, dude? I don't care. I'll get their logo tattooed on me. Just be set for life, and I can just show up to my salary job every single day, and if something happens, I get really pissed off. I can just walk out and still be set, and I can retire before Jake does.
Yes, Mr. Retire before I'm 30. Anyways, I think it's
Didn't
probably
work out
time
very
to. I think it's probably time to end the recording. So,
man.
thanks everybody for listening. We'll catch you all next week.
Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever.